Smocking is created by gathering threads at equal intervals across the width of the fabric. Firstly, using a ruler, mark out gaps across the fabric at regular intervals. In this instance, the gaps are 2 centimetres apart. A simple running stitch is then placed across the width of the fabric. Repeat this to the bottom of the fabric. These running stitches are then pulled tight. And secured with a pin, winding the thread round in a figure of 8 to ensure that the gathers are kept very tight. Your fabric should look almost as though you have long folded lines at equal distance. These are the areas where you will stitch. The outline stitch is often placed at the top and the bottom of design. It's a very secure stitch without a lot of stretch. The basic stitch simply stitches one of the pleats next to the other pleat. Chevron stitch. Stitch pleats 1 and 2 with a simple overcast stitch. Then take your needle slightly down and to the right and stitch pleats 2 and 3 together, again with a simple stitch. At this stage, your needle will then go back up to the top and stitch pleats 3 and 4 together. This continues right across the width of your fabric. Honeycomb stitch. This stitch is fairly similar to chevron stitch. However, rather than stitching over the top of the pleat, you want to take your needle in down underneath the pleat. Stitch pleats 1 and 2 together and then carefully slip the needle underneath pleat 2 and bringing it back out in pleat 2 again, lower down this time. Stitch pleats 2 and 3 together and this time take the needle into pleat 3 underneath the fabric, bringing it back up further up pleat 3 in order to continue stitching pleat 3 to pleat 4. The original running stitches will eventually now be removed from the fabric sample. This will allow the smocking to stretch. You will be able to see that some of the smocking stitches are far stretchier than others. For example, the outline stitch remains fairly solid. This is a wonderful example of a Warwickshire wedding smock. It's an exact copy of a 19th century piece. There are many different types of example of smocking. The bodice demonstrates a tight pleating system and many different decorative stitches. The cuff shows how smocking can be used to gather certain areas of the garment together. This board shows how smocking may have been taught in the NDS 1930s to 1960s. The sample shows the use of different colours of thread for each of the stitches.